Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Written in Melanin podcast, where we bring color to your pages, one word at a time. We are writers of color, spreading the words of writers of color, and as always, we're here to talk about books, writing, and everything that happens between the pages. We welcome you to this episode of the podcast, wherever you may be listening at. Enjoy! Hi, you guys. Welcome to the Written in Melanin podcast. My name is C, better known as C. Benson.
And I'm Ashley D.
I'm Michaela Shelton.
And we are here to talk about Michaela's new web series called Reckless Behavior. She is the founder of Queen Media Collective, and she has graciously decided to come on the podcast to talk to us about her web series and what's coming up. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, I'm ready.
How did you come up with the title Reckless Behavior? Because I know that you have a blog series as well as the web series that you're starting, and that's coming out January 2020. Is that right?
Yes.
So how did you decide on Reckless Behavior? And then also, can you tell us a little bit about your blog and your web series? So, fill in everybody.
Okay, so the first question, so reckless behavior. So when I was in college, I thought I wanted to be like a radio host. So I had to take a radio class. My major was journalism and my minor was radio, TV, film. So I had a radio show and they were like, you need a name for it. And I was just stressing. I was like, oh God, I'm not creative with coming up with like names. Like, I don't know what to call it. Stressing. And then it just came to me. I'm like, reckless behavior. Because in college, I just feel like I was just doing so many like random and crazy things. And I was like, okay, my DJ name's gonna be DJ McLala. And Reckless Behavior would be the name of the radio show. So after I graduated from college and I created my blog, and the blog was basically to document like the post-college struggles, like the misconception that, oh, I'm gonna get a job that pays well, my life's gonna be great, I'm gonna like find somebody and get married. And as soon as I graduated, I'm like, oh no, this is not what I thought it was gonna be like. So I felt like if I blogged about my experiences, a lot of people would be able to relate. And I was like, okay, reckless behavior, it still seems fitting. So let's just use the name that I had for the radio show.
I like it. Knowing that, the name seems absolutely fitting at this point. Post-college, what was the most, I guess, real world smack in the face that you kind of got like, oh, this is not what people told me it was going to be,
I would say, so I got an internship where I was working at an Indian radio station, and they ended up hiring me. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to have a job right after college, because one of the qualifications was that you needed to have an internship before you graduate. So of course I waited till my senior year, last minute. I had the internship, did well for about, 3 months, and they hired me to be a board operator and an on-air host. So they were paying me $10 an hour. And I was like, okay, like I have a degree. Like I know I used to be an intern, but now I have a degree. So I was thinking they were gonna pay me all this money, and they're like, we can't afford it and you're still entry level. And I was just so shook. I was like, wow, I really thought I would be making all this money. And it's just not the case. Like, you guys don't even care that I have a degree. And then as I started to apply for other jobs, that weren't in my field, because I was like, okay, I guess like jobs are going to want me to have experience, like a degree is just not enough. And I really just thought that a degree would be enough and I would just be able to just get a job. And then as I kept getting the runaround about having experience, I was just like, wow, I guess I have to work somewhere random and able to be able to sustain myself. So applying for office jobs, they were saying, oh, we can give you $11, we can give you $12. And I'm just like, hello, I have a degree. They didn't care. So I think that was like the biggest like slap in the face, like all this hard work, all this debt, all this time and energy, and you guys still like want to just offer me $10.
Right? It's just like, that's barely more than minimum wage. The thing that got me is just like, okay, so I know that I don't have an experience, but like I have like bills, and they don't care that I'm fresh out of college, because still gotta pay rent, still gotta pay for my car, because if I don't have a car, you're not gonna let me keep my job. So we have to work something out here, What about you, Ashley? Post-college or real world life?
So I actually left college because it was too expensive. And when in 2011, because I graduated from high school in 2009, And getting out of college and realizing, and I think my parents kind of freaked out because they were like, Ashley, you're not going to want to do any of these jobs. And my thing was like, look, I have bills. I have shenanigans I'm trying to get into. You don't understand. You're not going to pay for these shenanigans. So I need a job. And I actually started working in fast food. Like right after I left college, and I kept taking classes, but I was mostly concerned with I need to have money. Nobody else is going to give me money. I don't have anybody supplying me with these things, and my friends were just like constantly like, I spent a whole year, and this sounds so terrible, I spent a whole year literally going out every weekend. And then going, like, I would be out on Saturday, and then I would have to be at work at like 8 a.m. on Sunday. And I was just like, and I'm like, I need money for this. So for me, it was just the matter of, I don't care what I have to do, but I'm going to do it because I need to be able to support myself. And then after a while, it was like, look, I'm taking all of these jobs and nobody's putting me in higher positions because I don't have a degree. And everybody's saying, well, you don't really have the experience. And it's like, well, I kind of do have the experience because I've been working at these other jobs and getting into these jobs and having managers and supervisors tell me, well, you're great at this. We're going to have you do this. And like at my job now, because this is the first time I work in the office, and them putting me in these different positions, but not paying me more. So that's my dilemma right now, where it's just like, I'm frustrated because like I can't afford to go back to college, but nobody wants to hire me because I don't have a degree, but I have the experience because I've been working in this position for 3 years and doing all of these things and not getting paid for it. So yeah, it's difficult for everybody. It's just hard.
It goes both ways. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? But I think the hardest thing for me was like, you know, like how when you're in high school and college, everybody's like, oh, you have so much potential. You could do this with your life. You could do that with your life. And everybody's just like hyping you up, and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And the world is just going to bow down at my feet once I graduate. And then you graduate and they're like, okay, yeah, we're done with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go live life. You're a full-fledged adult. Nobody cares. Go get a job or do something.
Yeah, you reach this point where everybody's just looking at you like, I don't understand why you think you're special. It's like this for everybody. And it's like, well,
they've been telling you you're special for the last like 24 years.
See, and then for me, I feel like it was a lot of the pressure, like, oh, well, now that you got your bachelor's, master's. And it's like, I don't even know, because me thinking that I was going to have opportunities with my bachelor's, like, what if I get my master's and still don't have opportunities and I have more debt? I'm going to be extra upset. Like I'm going to feel like bamboozled.
Yeah, it's like every time you get to a spot where you're like, oh, I got it. I did it.
I'm good.
And then they move the goalposts. And it's like, you didn't tell me I needed a master's. You just said get a bachelor's. I got the bachelor's. I'm in debt because of the bachelor's. But you won't hire me because now I got to, and when I get the master's, now you want me to get something else. Like, it just doesn't.
Now you got to go for your doctorate. And it's just like, you know, I
don't have the money to pay for this school. Like, I'm not set up like that.
Girl, don't have the time. No. Because
Exactly.
The thing is, like, when you're in school for like the first 18 years of your life, most people, by the time they hit high school, they're like, okay, I'm near the finish line. I've got 4 more years and I'm good to go. Just got to make it 4 more. And then you hit that 4 more and they're like, okay, but you need another 2 more. And you're like, but, and then if you go to another 2, they're like, okay, now you have to go for this mythical one that can take as long as it could possibly take. It could take 2 years. It could take 12 years. No one knows. That's all dependent upon you, but you have to pay for every year that you're there. So you should probably wrap that up.
Yeah, and you're still not guaranteed a position. And like, I'm learning now that it's really about who you know. It really is about connections and having somebody that like refers you or like hooks you up, because there's so, like, I feel like the people that I know that are more successful, somebody like put them on. Or somebody put them in place for that. So I'm like, oh, there's all of us with these degrees, like, especially now they're saying like everybody has a bachelor's and it's like a diploma. But it's like there's people who just happen to like know the right person, who are making way more money, who are way more successful, who don't have debt. And I'm just like, I don't know how I feel. Like, I feel like education, like I value education. I feel that it's important. But at the same time, I'm over here like, And then another thing happened to me. Like I was working for CBS Radio. In my interview, I was so happy because it was one of my sorority sisters who made the connection for me, because I had been applying for like 2 years. And I'm like, they're just not going to hire me. And then I found out she worked there. Got an interview the next day because she was like my way in. So in the interview, I was telling them like, I have a journalism degree. I have a minor in TV. The lady there literally looked at me and she's like, how many followers do you have? I'm like, what? Like, are you serious right now? And she was dead serious and pulled out her phone to go look at my social media. At that point, I was like, okay. That's when I really started researching. I was like, I guess this really matters. Like, unfortunately, like your social media presence and your following really matters. It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. That's something that as a writer, I had to really come to terms with, because like, I'll be honest, like I talk to people, but I don't like to put my life out for the world to just like gawk at, because I'm good minding my own business. Honestly and truly, I don't have to put everything on Twitter, on Instagram. I don't even have a Snapchat. No. It's too much.
Don't do it. It makes no sense. I tried it. I have a Snapchat and I'm just like, have I reached the age where it's just like, I don't understand what you young people are putting out here. What is the TikToks and the Snapchat? I don't get it.
I can't do it. But then it's just like, once I wrote my book and I tried to put it out, it's just like, if you don't have a following, it's just like, I was scrolling through Instagram, and basically one lady put it's like, oh, you didn't market your book ahead of time? Who do you think you are, Beyonce? You could just drop a book and not tell anybody. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, if you put it like that, I guess.
Who said that to you?
Well, no, it was a post that she has on Instagram. Like, she gives tips and stuff to authors. She was just
like, really? She just came out the woodwork and
I'm gonna say, what's her ad name? What's her ad?
But no, but like her advice is so solid. Oh, I wish I had her name. I'll put a link to her somewhere. But basically, she gives self-publishing advice, and she's just like, you have to market yourself, because the fact is you're not Beyonce. You can't just drop something and everybody go buy it and fall over it and just stand for it. And it's just like, social media is that thing that you have to be a part of if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur of any type, or even like you put in like regular mainstream business. It's like, people want to know, do you have a following? If you put something out there, are people going to listen? And it's like, what is it? It's something a gift and a curse. Because like, if you have a massive following, it's like, great, you have a following, but then it's just like, also you have to be really careful what you put out there, because it's never going to go away.
Not at all. People bring up,
I feel like I'm at that point now, because I've observed people like Cardi B, and I'm like, I never like to speak negatively on anyone. I don't like to do that, and I am a fan of hers, but I've just come to terms with the fact that like, people love her personality. She's personable. She's very relatable. She puts her life out there. And it's like, if people like the person that you are, they're going to support you regardless of the quality of the product that you're coming out with, because they're like, oh, I love Cardi. Like, yeah, I'm going to promote her. I'm going to listen to her music because I like the person she is. So that kind of pushed me to be like, okay, I need to do more videos. I need to be more like at the mall, at the movies, even though I don't really like doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like, at this point, I've gotten to 10,300 followers. And basically from just doing research and figuring out how I could get more. And it's like, when I go out, there's like a few times where people would be like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, oh God, I don't really, but I'm like, I'm glad that you know my brand and you've seen my face. So I'm definitely more of a behind the scenes type of person. Like, I've never wanted to be like seen and stuff. I never wanted people to approach me, but I'm like, hey, it's really necessary to like be on social media and like get more people to know your face and the person you are. Because if they like the person you are, they'll want to support you.
Yeah.
I truly feel like that's true.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest things to do when you are a behind the scenes person, is to put yourself out there and build your brand, especially if you're doing it from scratch. Like, I don't want to say it's easier, but it's like, if you have a team of people behind you, it's a lot easier to be like, I'm gonna do this social media, I'm gonna do this project and that project, and this project and that project. But it's like, if you're running a 1-woman or a 2-woman or even a 5-person show, it's hard, especially starting from ground zero. So
I'm trying to do that now, and getting myself into the headspace that like, you're gonna have to start putting yourself out there and promoting yourself more, and getting like, because my sister listened to one of the podcasts and she's like, you talk about writing, but you never show us your stuff. And you don't have a website. You need to have a website and you need to do these things. And it's like, I do, but it's terrifying because I'm not really that type of person. I'm outgoing to an extent. Yeah, I can do those things, but it takes a lot out of me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this isn't something that just stops. And it's, especially if you're like, this podcast is a godsend because it's like, we have each other. So it's never like something that only one of us has to do. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to my own stuff that I want to do, it's like, this is just me. And I'm learning a lot of it on my own. I'm figuring things out. And it's like, you kind of, you have to figure it out, but you also have to be mindful that this isn't something that just stops. It's not something that you can put off on somebody else until you get to the point where you can hire a team and hire people to help you out. It's what you got to do.
Yeah.
See, I'm really like the same way as you. Even today, I was like, oh God, like, I'm about to get out here. And then when you just said video, I'm like, oh God. I'm really shy and people message me all the time. They're like, you're so confident. I'm like, I'm really not. Like every time I post a video on Instagram or something, I'm like hesitating. I'm like, oh God. And for me and my business partner, I have a business partner named Imani Baylor. She's always been the voice of us. Like I'd be the one that sends out emails. I would even see people in public and be like, oh, I want to work with her. Start walking over and be like, oh, I'll just send her an email. I'll just send a good email because it's just so uncomfortable for me. So like you said, like it takes a lot out of me. Like I can do it, but I'm like cringing on the inside. But with this, it's like Reckless Behavior, the series is my project. Like as much as other people can talk about it, as much as other people can help me, because I have a couple people who are kind of like a team, but it's like you have to be the one to promote yourself. No one's going to go harder for you and your endeavors than you. So I'm pushing through that right now. I'm here with y'all. So
I understand 100% what y'all are saying because that's kind of how I felt when I started Written in Melanin as a whole, like the podcast and then the YouTube channel and like trying to run the social media. And it's like, I tell people this all the time, like this is a one-woman show. I am trying. So if you see the cracks, I'm trying to keep it together. And you really, like you said, no one's going to go harder for you than you. And I wish I had money to pay somebody because if I did, it'd be like, here's all of my social media. You can handle this. But I love it. I love this. Kind of the whole point of this whole platform is to bring people who normally wouldn't come out of their shells into a platform where it's like it's safe, it's fun, and we can help each other grow because that's what this is all about. Because we have to go hard for ourselves, but also no one's going to support us more than the community that we're a part of. So we have to be a part of a community, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that this will be a community that people will think like, oh, you know, I'm looking for something interesting to read. I'm looking for something interesting to watch. I'm looking for a new creator. I'm trying to expand my horizons or know more about this artist or creator or writer or whoever. And so like, let me check out Written in Melanin. Let's see what they did. That's the goal. That's the dream.
I love it. And it's like we really, our goals and our goals just align so much in like what we do. I'm like, we're writing articles about people, you guys like bringing people on to speak about their projects. And I just think it's dope. Like I was absolutely down to collab. Like, let's just keep expanding the network. Like keep it going.
Especially for writers of color who look like us, who maybe don't have the same options as other writers coming out the gate. Because, you know, when I first, like, even with me now, one of the biggest things that I know I want to do is do a YouTube channel, even though it's terrifying, because there's a lot of booktubers and there's a lot of brown booktubers. But what you don't get a lot on YouTube is a lot of Black and brown, specifically women writers, just talking about their craft, talking about what they do. And I think it's this misconception, and I've heard this before, saying like maybe Black women and Black people maybe they're just not interested in those kinds of creative endeavors or stuff like that. And it's like, no, we are. We have to find different avenues, because the avenues that are afforded to some people aren't afforded to us. A lot of us come up in families where parents are like, the parents aren't giving us these options because they were never given to them.
And so, it's also the fact that the people who are creating it, it's not that they don't want to be there. It's just, you know, y'all are Black women. Y'all have heard the phrase that, you know, as a Black person, you have to work 10 times harder than someone who is of a different skin color. And that's just the facts, because even on YouTube, there are 100% Black booktubers who, but the thing is, they don't meet the pretty picture that people have in their head. So it's not always, they're not always shown. They're not given the same amount of screen time. And same thing with like books and writing and anything creative. It's very hard to find writers with characters who look like us. That's why I'm absolutely thrilled for your series, Reckless Behavior, because it's like you're talking about post-college struggles from the perspective of a Black woman, which is not readily available. And it's just like, but you know what's amazing? It's like when you do get that perspective, you get things like A Different World and Grownish and things where it's like they're so popular because they resonate with people. And it's just like, yes, I am more than just a stereotype. I am more than just, you know, out here fighting police brutality or out here, you know, fighting
more than just
the world,
the movies and things and the media that has been put out about us.
Exactly.
Just for years, just the slavery, the police brutality, all of these things they talk, and you hear women and Black men and women talk about it all the time. Like, this is all that we get. These films and things that are constantly showing us in pain, and we don't want to see that anymore. We want to see carefree Black girls. We want to see carefree Black boys. We want to see us in fantasy as superheroes and things like that, and we don't have it.
Or even just in real life, like I have goals for myself that I want to manifest that have nothing to do with, you know, fighting oppression, you know, but we're getting kind of off topic.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, I did actually want to ask.
We just started a whole table talk over here, but
I did actually want to ask.
That really made me think of like reality shows and how it's like there's so many of those with so many of us, but like where are the shows? We need more shows like Insecure. We need more Atlanta. We need more things like that. And a big inspiration for my web series was Being Mary Jane. I feel like people don't give that show enough credit because even though that was like the struggles of being 40, I feel like that show was just so raw and real with the stuff she was experiencing. So
what would you say is the biggest challenge from turning your blog into something that's written into something that's manifested visually into like something like a web series?
Okay, so I think just thinking of like the blogs and the things that I've experienced that would be good visually, because I was gonna make all the moments that happened in the blogs and in my real life in the web series. And I was like, no, I'm gonna like say that this is loosely based on my life for creative purposes and me just being able to, I guess, just have more to create. Because it's like I could just take an experience that I had and just like have each episode just be like an experience. But I'm like, no, I want to be able to create. Most of the characters are inspired off real people, just kind of dramatized. But I would say that it's like 50% real life events and 50% fiction.
What were you expecting it to look like when you decided you wanted to make the web series? And now that you're close to wrapping up and it's so close to the release date, what were some things that you thought were going to happen and didn't, or some things that you didn't think were going to happen and did in making this web series?
I'll say that I thought it would be a lot easier. I thought it would be way easier. And sometimes I get so excited that I don't fully do my research and I don't fully plan. And I just told my business partner, because she's way more calculated. I was like, we're going to make a web series. And she's like, oh, well, we should save up money first. I said, nope, we're going to figure it out. We're just going to do it. I'm excited. And then I was like, I never wrote a script in my life, but I'm writing my script. So it just, I should have planned. I definitely should have done more research. I do have like a mentor who I've written reviews for, and like I've watched his web series and like written different things in regards to that. So his web series has won like awards and stuff. I'm kind of like, okay, can you give me some guidance? Can you give me some tips on what to do? And his first thing was that you should have planned it out more. And I'm like, I know, but you know, I've been just dealing with things as I go, and it's been working out. Especially the more we go, and like I'm learning as I go. Like it's all starting to click. Like, okay, this is how you handle this, or this is how you. Yeah.
Well, that's good that it's falling into place because I'm laughing because I'm 100% guilty of that too, of just diving in head first, consequences, forget about them. Like, I don't care. This is what I want to do. I want to do it right now. I don't want to wait a week. I don't want to wait 2 weeks. I don't
because you're so excited and you just want to get started.
So it's just like, I'm with you. But the flip side of that coin is when you don't plan it out and it's just full of passion, you get a lot of things that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise if it was calculated. Because there's just like this raw sincerity that comes through that people pick up on. That's just like, wow, you really meant this, didn't you?
Yeah, I really think that it's coming along well. And even seeing the footage, I watched the first full episode last week, and I was like, wow, this is like a real web series. Like, because everybody, a part of it is basically an amateur. Like, some people have acting experience, most don't. I literally put something on Instagram. I literally put an ad on Craigslist for Black actors. So a lot of these people, like, I've just met, and they've been trying to look for a way to get into acting. And I'm like, well, here you go. Here's a platform. Like, we had interviews and stuff. Our videographer, he's only really done music videos. So this is his first time doing a web series. And he's been doing an amazing job. I'm like, dang, I feel like you've done this before. And we're all just pretty much learning together. And I feel like, to go back on your question, I think the main thing was me just having unrealistic expectations. Like, each episode is 10 to 15 minutes. So I was like, okay, well, it'll take us 2 hours to shoot. It's been taking like 7 hours. And then I didn't really think about makeup and stuff because I was like, yeah, we could do this without having a makeup artist. So I was like, no, I want all my girls to be on fleek for this. Like, because I was like, you never know how far this will go. You never know if a platform will want to like pick this up. So I'm like, us waking up at 7 a.m. to get our makeup done, and then spending 7 hours on set shooting things from different angles, reshooting things, people forgetting their lines, all for 10 minutes.
Yep.
So it's crazy. It's just crazy. Because even like some of the episodes that aren't as, aren't as long, like aren't as eventful, we're like, oh, maybe it'll be shorter today. Nope, still 7 hours.
That's what it is. I mean, it kind of seems like I've never done a web series, so the only thing I can relate to is like writing a book. And it's kind of like when you write a book, you're like, oh yeah, I can knock, X amount of words out in like a week, and then I'll be good to go. And then you start and you're just like,
that's me right now. That is me right now.
Because like, I can knock out 2,000 words in a day, but like, I'm only gonna keep about 100 of them. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I'm the same way, and I really want to make Reckless Behavior like a whole thing. Like, I plan to do prequels, because right now I'm doing it as if it's my current life. So I think that's also what's really unique about it, is like, as we're filming it and going through these situations, I'm still kind of in it, being a 26-year-old who hasn't been out of college for that long. So I definitely feel like there was reckless behavior in high school, middle school. Like, I was kind of always doing little different things. So I want to write books, because it's like a web series. Yeah, I can tell my story in these 10-minute episodes, but a book, you could put way different details. So I definitely want to like start writing books as well. But I know I'm a perfectionist, and it would probably be the same way. You write like 1,000 words and you're like, I don't know, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to change it. So I'm like, let me just wait on the book, because I know it's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, that's literally my issue right now. I'm rewriting a book that I wrote in high school. So that my sister's like, I want to read it. You talk about it. And I'm like, well, I don't really want you to read this copy of it, because it's terrible. And I wrote it in high school. So I'm working on rewriting that. And originally it was 13 chapters, and I know it's going to be more. But I've been trying to knock out those 13 chapters in this last week. And it's like, this is not going to happen. You jumped head first, and it, like you always do, and it's just not going to happen.
No, gotta be realistic with ourselves. Gotta be realistic, man.
I have a story from high school. It's called Summer Vacation. I put it up on Wattpad, and it's still there. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna edit it, because like I wrote this when I was 17. I'm coming up on 25. My skills have improved significantly. I can make this an actual like really interesting book now. And then I just like start on the first page, and I'm like, my God, how does anybody read this and like it at this point? I cannot. And it's just like, it's so much editing and so much rewriting. I'm just kind of at the point, it's like, maybe I shouldn't even try to edit it. I should just rewrite the whole thing.
I'm trying to go full rewrite of the first 13 chapters.
Yeah.
After that, I'll deal with it. But the first 13 chapters is a complete rewrite. I changed names. I was like, all of this has to go. Like when I was typing it up originally, like last year or the year before, I was like, this is bad. It's missing like the first 3 chapters. Nothing makes sense. There's just stuff thrown. I was like, no, nobody can see this. Nobody can ever.
You guys are probably just hard on yourselves. Watch, they're like really good.
Nope.
No.
Terrible.
What made you go with the web series instead of like a book or a vlog? But you said that you are going to write a book along with the web series. So that answers that question.
I really thought it would be dope to just bring it to life visually and what that would look like. And along with like telling my story, also showing Bay Area culture.
Yeah.
So like we have different people we're collaborating with, different popular restaurants, different murals that like people know that are from here, different clubs that people go to. And I really wanted to show that because I'm like, when people think of California, a lot of people think of LA. They don't really know the Bay Area and the culture. So I was like, okay, in addition to telling my story, since I grew up from here, let me also make sure to incorporate different brands and different people. A lot of people have been giving us like their clothes and things so we can promote their brands for them. And we have different artists who have been writing songs for us to feature in the web series, original songs for us. And awesome. Who have been people that have been making appearances who are known out here. So I really just wanted to bring everybody together, give them a platform, show their talents, and make it just like a collective thing. Like this, even though it's loosely based on my life, it's not just about me. It's a lot about the culture and the people that are out here making moves as well.
That's amazing. I feel like you are really filling a gap that has existed for so long that people don't even realize that the gap is there. So it's amazing that, not because it would be so easy for you to just make this about you, to make this the Michaela Shelton show. I'm just going to talk about my life and my experiences and no one else is going to matter. It's going to be about me. It would be so easy for you to do that because it's your project, it's your idea, it's your baby,
Yeah.
And it's like you're not doing that. You're getting other people involved. You're giving them a voice. You're giving them a platform. You're giving them experience. And we all know how difficult experience is to come by. And it's just like, that's amazing. And I applaud you, ma'am. And I wish you the most success with this. And I hope it grows and blows up. And then, one day Tyler Perry's looking at you like, I'm glad I met you.
Girl, he's one of my biggest inspirations. Like, I would love, man, if he said that, I would die because I just love him. Like, I just think he's so talented. Love Medea, love his movies, and like the opportunities that he's given people. So him, Issa Rae, Childish Gambino, like Spike Lee, like out here doing stuff for the culture. And I just want to contribute to Black storytelling as best as I can.
It's the idea of pulling people up with you, not just you making it, but and just with a lot of I'm not even gonna say a lot, but with some of the conversations that have been being had right now about this idea that some of the people who have made it, some of our biggest inspirations, who feel like, well, I made it. I don't need to worry about who's behind me. And it's like, well, what about the people who are worried about you, who were behind them? Like, what if they never paved that way for you? So I think it's really excellent, like C said, that you're taking the time to collaborate and work with and go out and meet these people, no matter how hard it is, because you're just because there's not a lot of chances for us right now, and just making those chances for other people like you. And I think that's really great.
It's really important to me, and that's another reason why I started Queen Media Collective, because it's just like I feel like there's so many of us who are so talented and like people don't even know who we are. So it's like, if I can help anybody get more exposure, the hidden gems part of our website where we'll just write articles, half those people, they don't even know we're going to write an article about them. I'll usually start with saying, oh, I went to a party, this person DJ'd, or I went to this event and this woman threw it, and like she paid homage to other creators before her, other artists, and people are like, wow, you like took the time to write about me. I'm like, yeah, because you're dope, and I feel like people need to know. So when people read my article about you, or 100, that's more people people who are exposed to the dopeness that you create, more people that know your brand, more people that might say, oh, let me follow her, she's doing this, I had no idea. Because I feel like a lot of people, they want to support people, but some of them are like, oh, I don't even know how to find these people, or I don't even know. And it's like, no, I want to make sure I'm promoting dope DJs, dope creators, dope writers, dope poets that look like us. Because we're there, it's just like we all need to be able to find each other and network. And networking, that's why networking is so important. I was excited when I got the email from you guys. I'm like, yes, especially because we're doing like the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, because like I said, that was the whole purpose of me starting Written in Melanin in the first place. It's just because like the one thing that I've always heard growing up is just that, you know, we as Black people, I'm just going to use that term collectively, need to support other Black people, you know, Black owned businesses and Black creators. And it's just like, but you can't support someone you don't know exists. And that's just the reality of the situation. Because like for me, I want to read books written by Black authors with characters who look like me. But you know, if I go into CVS, I'm not going to find a single book in there that with people who look me. If I go into a Food Line, even if I go into Barnes and Noble, I have to go specifically to the section for me to find something for me. And most of that, let's just be real, it's going to be romance. So if I want something other than that, then I'm going to be hard pressed and I'm going to have to know the person that I am looking for, but you can't know somebody that you've never heard of before. So I just wanted to create a platform to give people a community, and also as writers to one day get to a point where Written in Melanin Publishing is considered a traditional publishing path for Black authors. So it's not like you have to go to like.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. If you could give advice to either your younger writing self or just any inexperienced writer, creator, what would that advice be, and I guess why? And this is for all of us, so have at it.
I would say do your research, seek mentorship. That's the biggest thing for me, because growing up, being a writer, I didn't really have mentors. It's like now that I'm out of college, I've been encountering women who are writers or that do marketing or like press releases, like public relations type of work. And I'm like, oh, like I wish you guys were here when I was younger. Like I didn't have that. You know, now there's so many different, you can join groups, you can go to different events to network. And I just feel like growing up, I was just like, I want to write, but like, I don't even know how, I don't even know what. So I would say seek mentorship. Like if there's somebody that's doing something that you want to do, reach out to them. A lot of times people want to help somebody and like give guidance and advice to them. So I would say seek mentorship, do your research, because even though Reckless Behavior, the series, is working out for me and it's coming along really well, it would have been a lot easier if I would have researched exactly what I'm doing. And just don't get discouraged. Like even if you fail, I don't really believe in failure, but even if something doesn't work out like you want it to, just keep pressing forward, just try again, never give up.
Okay.
I would say, just to piggyback off of that, don't be afraid to fail. I believe that, you know, it's all a part of the learning process and you never start learning. But also, especially as women writers, especially as Black women writers, also don't be afraid to make it. Because I think a lot of the times we pass up or we give ourselves the answer already. We say, no, you can't do this because you don't have the experience, or you don't know how to do this, or you don't know how to do that, or you've never done it before. Don't let yourself talk yourself out of something that could be a blessing for you. Don't talk yourself out of something that could help you and in turn help somebody else. Sometimes you have to be that first person. You may have never seen anybody else do it, and it's like then you might have to be that first person, and it's scary and it's hard, but it doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah. And
yes, I love that.
I guess going along with that, I guess I would say two things. Don't be afraid to network. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to someone just because they're so much further ahead of you, kind of like what you said, Michaela, and like talk to them, because people are still people. No matter how much money they make, no matter how much fame they have, they still go to sleep at night. They still have to go to the bathroom so many times a day. They're still people. you know? So don't be afraid to reach out with them. And then also, like what you said, Ashley, don't be afraid to forge a path that is uniquely your own. So just because no one's gone there before, just because the path is like overgrown and there is no path and you're just walking through the woods blindly, walk anyway. Go forward, trust where you're going, know where you're going, and don't be selfish about your journey. So if you're going from point A to point B, don't be afraid to help someone else who's at point A get to where you're at for fear that they're going to make it to point C or D or E before you get there, you know, because we all have to work together. We all have to grow together, and your journey's not going to look like everybody else's and theirs isn't going to look like yours. But you can't be afraid to help people for fear that they're going to surpass you, because in the realm of creativity, what does it even mean to surpass someone else anyway?
Exactly. And it's so funny because that directly like coincides with what I posted something on Facebook earlier, because I truly believe that some people really do pray for your downfall, and some people are your friends and they don't want to see you win. Some people want you to do good, but not better than them. Mm-hmm. So I kind of posted a status about it earlier. I'm like, you know, if I eat, we all eat. Like, I just want everybody to win. There's room for all of us to be great and accomplish different things. So it's just crazy how some people truly don't want to see you do well. Some people really don't, or some people think that only they can, you know, like what she said, like, oh, what if they surpass me? What if they're doing better? And we can't be like that. We have to support each other. You can't be jealous of anybody. Everybody's journey and everybody's time is different.
Right. Yeah. I think Tyler Perry said something when he accepted his award. He was just like, you know, he wasn't invited to the table to eat, so he's trying to make the table so that he can invite other people to eat. And it's just like, you have to have that kind of mindset that if they are not inviting me to eat at their table, I'm going to make my own table and I'm going to invite people to eat with me. And you know what? It's cool if I'm eating mashed potatoes and you over there eating greens and she over there eating turkey. We're not all eating the same thing, but we're all eating together. And that's what matters. Mm-hmm. So.
Exactly. And I kind of just, before I created Queen Media Collective, I was working for another publication, and it was very much like a dictatorship, where the founder of the site I would tell him like, oh, so-and-so had this suggestion, and he'd be like, well, the writers just need to write. And I'm like, no, like, I've always believed in everything being collaborative, because people can think of things you haven't thought of. People can think of great ideas that you never even would have came up with. And they're like, okay, let's use a little bit of what you have, a little bit of what I have. So when I left, a lot of people that were on that publication with me left. And they're like, you know, you should make your own website. You should make your own platform. I was like, no one's going to support me. No one's going to read my articles. Like, I can't make my own thing. And they're like, no, honestly, like, I want to work for you. I think that you should. So I kind of laughed at it. And then I was kind of, what if I do make my own thing? And I started thinking about the platform I was working for at the time. And I was like, it would be so different. It would be collaborative. People would feel like they have a voice. It'll be more, because like there, it was like, okay, you have to do this, and this. I'm like, no, mine would be more open-ended. People can just create. I'm just providing the platform for people to be great. So now that we're here, it's almost been a year. And I'm just like, wow, I really did it. Because at first I literally laughed. I was like, I can't do this. So forging your own path, like that really resonates with me, because I was scared. I was like, what if nobody supports me? What if nobody reads it? And to almost be at 50,000 views at this point, I'm just like, I'm so glad I took that leap of faith. Thank you. It's so crazy to me, and I feel like I'm dreaming sometimes, but it's kind of what you also said. Like, I'm looking at the platform that I used to work for, and they're doing really good things right now. Like, they've completely surpassed me, but I'm like, that's fine. I'm happy for you. There's no hate in my heart. I'm happy you're accomplishing that. Even though I'm not at that scale yet, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there, and I'm going to get there my way.
Yeah.
So people have contacted me like, oh, don't you feel a way you left there? I'm like, I don't feel any way. I'm happy for them. And you know, I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing, fulfilling my purpose.
And the thing is that I'm learning, especially as I get older and as I'm interacting with more creative people, and, you know, you can see the good side of people, but as you get to know them, you see the different sides of them, and you realize that not everything is as it seems, as they say. And like you said, not everyone is there to see you succeed. Some people would really love, not even secretly, really love to see you fail at what you do. And it's just kind of like, I'm learning that there's no room for negativity in me being creative and me growing and me helping people and me trying to get to where I'm trying to be. Because it's like, if I'm trying to climb a ladder, I don't have time to get my foot off the rung to kick you down. I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go. And it's like, if you have that much energy to invest into me, to try to see me fail, it's like, imagine what you could do if you put that energy into yourself to get where you could be going. We could both be on an escalator instead of trying to climb a ladder.
Yeah.
But
your metaphors are giving me life right now. I'm like, wait, she right.
I live my life in analogies. Everything in my head is an analogy. But that's how I felt, because I recently had an experience where it's just like, I was completely, done wrong. I don't even want to say screwed over, but yeah, it was just not a positive situation. And, I had people in my ear who was just like, well, you should do this and you should do that and you should write a bad review and you should do this and that. And I'm just like, I could do all that. I have the right to do all that, but I don't need that negativity in my life. I don't need to spend my time trying to tear somebody else down, because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to tear down another Black man. I'm not trying to tear down somebody else trying to build up their career. I'm not trying to mess up anybody else's, struggle, game, whatever you want to call it. You be successful over there, and I'll be successful over here. And if our paths,
what did Michelle Obama say? They go low, you go high. What did she say? Because it takes too much. It takes way too much energy to get bitter and upset about something when you could just move on. And it's like, I'm not going to dish you. I'm not going to down talk you. I don't wish you ill or anything. I'm just moving on. I'm moving past it for me.
Right? And it takes all types of people to make the world go wrong. Because I'm not sure what the lesson is yet, but there's a lesson in everything. Yeah. So once I learn it, I'll be a better person for it, and I'll grow. But like Destiny's Child said, I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna talk bad about you because my mama taught me better than that. So
yes, queen. I always think about that, because I'll be the first one to tell people everything happens for a reason, but some stuff I'm like, what was the reason?
I will be the first to tell you that I don't know the reason, but when I figure it out,
I have yet to figure out.
And you will figure it out.
Right? And some things just confusing. They still go over my head, and I'm just like, you know what? I have come to terms that it's not meant for me to know everything. It is not meant for
God
me.
has a plan and reason for everything. Everything happens. He knows why. We may not know why, and that's
the lesson may not be for me. The interaction may have been a lesson for them and had nothing to do with me. I was just what was used for it. So I may never know, and that's okay. I'm good. But ladies, I could talk to y'all all night. So we're going to wrap this up. Last question, and I'm limiting us to 3 sentences each.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're going to be talking all night. Last question. If you're not a creative, look into that. If you're not a creative mind, what would you be doing?
I would be a history teacher. And I just told somebody about this, and they're like, what? Because I really am so intrigued by it.
You got one more sentence.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty much it then. Yeah, I would be a history teacher.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no clue. You know what? I'd be a cop.
Oh. See, this is hard because now I'm like, what?
I would be a teacher. However, I tried that and it didn't work out. So I'd probably be a housewife. Honestly.
Wow, I did not expect that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I explained, but I'm gonna stick to my rule. 3 sentences.
All right.
All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this giggle fest of a podcast, and we hope that you learned something, enjoyed it. If you did, wherever you're watching this at, please, you can follow us on social media. Again, my name is C.E. Benson. I was here today with Ashley D. and Michaela Shelton. I will leave links to Michaela's YouTube channel, and I will leave links to mine and Ashley's Twitter and Instagram, because we're all cool people, so you should follow us on social media and completely stalk us and tell your friends to do that too, because you need to build a following. All right, but that is it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, we hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye.
Bye.